So today I want to talk through the chess game from the end of the film version of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. For the film they wanted to have a position which was actually viable, and so they contacted International Master Jeremy Silman, and he came back to them with this position. So I've used some Lord of the Rings pieces to represent the Harry Potter characters, but over here we have Hermione, who acts as a rook. We have Ron acting as a knight, and we have Harry acting as the bishop. In this position, it's White's turn. Now, what Jeremy Silman wanted to do is build up a villain of the scene, and the villain of the scene is going to be the White Queen here. So, just analysing the position slightly, things are pretty much equal in terms of just number of pieces on the board, but White's king is in a bit of trouble here. There's this black bishop guarding off these two spaces of its escape from the diagonal. Hermione as a rook is blocking off these two, so actually the king doesn't have anywhere to go. So any checks are going to be checkmates if they can't be taken. So Ron has potential moves, say to here, which would be checkmate. Here wouldn't be checkmate because the queen could take it. But it's White's turn. Now, what the producers of the film wanted to do is to have the first move as a capture to show that it was wizarding chess. In the end, they did that in the opening, but in Jeremy Silman's plan for it, his first move was queen takes pawn, showing off the CGI of queen taking a pawn, but also building up the villainy of this piece. Also, it makes sense from position, because now the queen is guarding this space here, from Ron getting a checkmate. The next move that black plays was the rook, which wasn't any of the players, this one here. Now what it does is it stops Harry being able to be taken by the queen, so very important. It also opens up this space for Harry to go there for a checkmate, and it potentially guards this space for Ron to go in as well. Also, it builds up the narrative, because now queen takes rook, builds up the villainy of the piece again. Now, there is a best move here, and there's a best move for the wizarding world. The best move in normal chess would be bishop here, check, and the only thing that White can do in that position is queen takes, and then knight here is checkmate. So it's a mate in two. However, we want Harry to regress to the next stage, so instead of getting a mate in two but sacrificing Harry, Ron makes this move. And this is one that you actually saw on screen because it didn't get cut. So you get Ron having his heroic moment, check. It draws fire away from Harry because the queen can't take Harry because it's a check. And there's only one move in this situation. The queen has to take Ron. Ron's off the board, and instead of getting your mate in two, you get a mate in three instead, so two from this position. Now Harry is able to go here, check, and the only thing that White can do is put the queen in the way. And so you get the fall of the villain as well in the piece. So you built up the villain, it's taken a pawn, a rook, and Ron, and Harry gets his heroic moment, taking back the queen and delivering checkmate. Now, this situation was on screen, but they showed you two of the moves. They showed you Ron going up and sacrificing himself, and you saw Harry delivering the final checkmate. It seems a shame, because there was a lot of thought put into this position that wasn't used. That's it. Cool.